If the audio sounds different in this podcast, we had to change locations. We're not in the library doing our regular booth. We're just at like our apartment because there's a storm going on right now. But yeah. Okay, for today's pre-show bit, since we did last time our favorite white person phrases for this movie, your favorite British phrases.
Hell yeah.
Because there's a lot in this movie.
Wait, I want to say mine before Will steals it.
Alright, can I say mine first?
Yeah.
Alright.
I know what this is.
Mine is wanker.
I have a million.
Yeah,
there's like
my
a
cousins
lot.
are British. I have like...
I like the word chuffed when they say they're chuffed over
Yeah.
I like it when they're like, you what?
You what? That's
You
fucking
So that's mine.
Keep it going. Brian?
I don't know. I don't
Brian
interact.
I just
Brian
say,
just
I say in it.
In it.
Anytime you end a phrase.
Oh,
you say-
bloody. Whenever you say bloody before anything,
Oh,
bloody
shit,
hell.
That's serious for a British person.
Bloody in it.
We're gonna lose like a two British
Two
viewers.
British
Yeah. We say that's my cousin. Shout out to them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like
Respect
British people.
me.
Yeah.
Bruv.
Once again.
Bruv.
Bruv, yeah.
Love
Classic.
that.
But yeah.
There's definitely more. I feel like what's remembered.
When they say like they're gonna put something in the boot, it's like it's.
Now, are you taking a piss?
Are you
Like, that's a
taking
good
a
one. Yeah.
Chat shit.
Chat shit.
What does taking a piss mean?
It means like
digging at someone.
no. It means like, are you just fucking?
Like-
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
Are you fucking serious right now? Yeah, yeah.
I'm taking a piss.
Oh, okay.
One that I know from Sidemen is like when they like something, they say I rate that.
Oh no, I think that's one thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's legit.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard it until my
I-
cousin
I-
said.
I-
Apparently,
I-
it's
We're just
good
making sure
because I think my
this
cousin was
is-
like, "I rate that so hard." I was like, "Is that good or bad?" Like,
You rate it good?
it. No,
Yeah, I
if you rate
have-
something, you like it.
Yeah, I haven't been to England, so
I mean,
Neither have I.
yeah, but I don't. I also don't.
I didn't learn any of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just step down in England, spit on the ground, and say you fucking want some.
Okay, but it's like it's not even like everywhere in England. It's just like in certain areas.
Go to a premiere game.
You fucking want.
All right, we'll probably be like saying this a bunch during the podcast, but this is overrated. I would like to apologize. We
just
are now
said it
gonna
out
have
loud.
quieter sounds from now on, hopefully.
Will's the farthest away from everybody. Too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
I
fucking
was-
yelled.
Here, I'm gonna put this like in the corner, just so.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said?
Said, you want me?
Alright, so it should hopefully be better. Alright. Let's go into some categories. Where were you? I don't have a very interesting story for this. I know Girish does, so I won't tell mine, but mine wasn't very special. I watched it like a while after it came out. One of my friends showed it to me, so I don't really have anything special.
Was it in the theater?
No, not even pirated for sure.
So this is my story. It's definitely the best one that we're probably gonna have all season. You know. Alright.
Good
So,
lord. I
I've
hate
been
it already.
No, I think I've actually told you guys this story before. You might just not know this Kingsman. But so I watched it when it first came out, like in theaters. So I went with like a couple of my friends, you know, like all brown kids. It was like me, Akash, like Ashwin, like you know, like a couple of us, yeah, probably 5 or 6. And so this was in high school. Like I think when it came out, we were like freshman year, sophomore year. We were all of us were under 17, and the movie was rated R.
Oh, it's this story.
You know this.
You said some of us might know the story.
Alright.
But I don't
Anyway,
know.
but yeah, so the movie's rated R, so we were all not allowed to watch it. So when we went to watch it, Ashwin's dad came and he bought us all the tickets, and I'm like, alright, cool, like no problem there. And then for some reason, I think after he left, we didn't enter immediately because I think someone had to go to the bathroom, so we were like waiting in the lobby. And some random ass dude, theater employee, like he wants to be, I don't know, he was trying to get a promotion or something, but he was like, oh, was that guy who bought the tickets? Is he not watching the movie with you? Because he saw him leave, and we're like, oh no, he's like, I'm sorry, like you guys can't enter. And we're like, the fuck? And we're like, okay, fine, like we'll call Ashwin's dad back. But then we realized we'd have to buy Ashwin's dad a ticket too, and we're like, no way. So we called his dad back, right? And so like we all, and this is, I don't know how this worked, like we didn't even plan this, but like, so we all run into the theater, right, with Ashwin's dad. Ashwin's dad takes Ashwin's ticket. Like, we're all just shoving the tickets in the dude's face. So Ashwin's dad takes Ashwin's ticket. The guy rips it. He gives it back to Ashwin. Ashwin shares him the same ticket. He's like, yeah, you're good. And all 6 of us enter. And Ashwin's dad like walks away. He's like, you guys want any snacks or anything? We're like, no. He's like, okay, cool. He just leaves. And the whole movie, we were like afraid to leave the theater because we're like, dude, what if they get us caught? And like every time the door opened, we're like, dude, it's the usher. We're done. But no, it was the first time I snuck into a movie actually. So
Well, you paid for it, though.
Yeah.
yeah, but you know.
Could have gone to jail.
If only
If the cops listen to this now.
Shit.
He just confessed to a
Step
crime.
Someone like walks in the door right now.
FBI freeze!
No, yeah, that was my first experience.
This has actually been a 5-year stigma operation.
Oh, that was mine though, yeah.
Kellyanne, you said you really liked this movie. When did you watch it?
I watched it like a couple years after it came out, and I was at home with my dad, I think. Like, almost positive that it was just the 2 of us watching it. But, yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. Like, one of my top 3 movies of all time. I just
All
love it.
time?
Oh, okay.
It is a
Love
good
this
movie. It is a good movie.
I have to disagree.
Oh, like I'm you might be on the higher end here.
I love it.
You guys, Will, Brian?
It's actually interesting. The first time I watched this movie was...
I can do it.
No.
I was the guy who got Girish.
God, Girish, calm down.
Calm down, Girish.
Sorry.
You're raping the
I'm sorry, guys.
No, the first time I actually watched this movie was also when it was like in theaters just recently. And it's funny because it was actually on a date. And not any date, but my first date ever with a girl. And I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. It was like, you know, people go to movies on dates, right? So I was like, okay, let's go. We go to the theater, and I'm talking to the girl. I was like, do you see any movie that you want? And she's like, I have no idea. I didn't know any of the movies out there. I was like, let's just go to this one, Kingsman, rated R. We're both 17, so like, why not? I had no idea. It's not a good first date movie. Let me tell you that. It was.
The girl's like, do you want to do it in the ass?
Yeah, there was that scene. It was like. Literally, as that scene came up, she like got up from her seat and then left me, and I was like, "Oh no!" She came back, but like,
she doesn't want to do it in the ass. Oh no!
I mean, yeah, I was like freaking out. I was like, "I've just made the worst decision in my life." But yeah, I mean, it was a memorable experience for sure. So, yeah.
Will?
The first time I watched it was like a month ago with Kellyanne.
Oh wow!
Oh,
really?
wait.
That's recent.
She liked it so much that she made you watch.
Jesus, if
Yeah,
you
it
don't
was
like this
super
movie,
recent.
you're breaking up.
No, I didn't say it, but I was
She's
thinking
thinking
it.
it.
So yeah, pretty uneventful.
Whoa!
Damn.
What are you trying to say?
We just
Spending
sat
time
there and
with
watched every like Girish is the only person who can like think that watching a movie story is exciting.
Fuck you. It was a good story.
It's better than our story.
Okay.
I watched like everyone else did. I sat down and watched it.
Oh
With
my
my eyes.
All right, let's go to our next category. Score it. Give your personal rating and what you think the Rotten Tomato score is. So, this is probably my lowest rating of all the movies that we've done so far.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just to keep a consistent scale, I was gonna do 80, but I think I gave Dead Poet Society 80 and didn't like it as much as that. So I'm gonna go 78.
Fucking wanker.
I really like this movie actually. I've seen it a lot of times.
So you know he's breaking the scale again.
Stop!
Yeah.
No.
I'm
I'm
going
just
140.
I'm sticking my
Logarithmic scale.
I'll give this like an 85. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Wait, what did you rate it?
85.
I don't. Maybe it's because like I've always associated this movie with like my first date experience. So like maybe that's why I have this bias
Was it a
towards
good
it.
experience?
I mean, like she didn't dump me immediately, so I guess. But like it was just very awkward. But yeah, it didn't speak to me any special. I don't even remember what I rated the other movies. So probably just give it a solid 80, C level.
What's in D minus?
Is it
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a
That's
C?
my fucking
78.
favorite.
Mine was
79.
borderline of the C plus. So.
79? 79
C
then.
plus.
It's a C.
I said 85.
Okay, Will, what's your rating?
Oh, it's the only one that really matters.
Guys, we might
Yeah.
witness a breakup on our podcast for the first time.
This could be.
I really liked it too. Because like
In
What is
fact,
that?
I loved
If
it.
you had to put a number on it,
Can you
what
tell me
would
what's
you
online?
I don't
What did I think it was?
I don't I can never remember what I gave my previous movies, but I don't think I've ever gone above 80.
Okay.
Dead Poets, I think, were you in the 80s?
Maybe.
You might have been 85, but like it would have been hard.
I'm gonna go
60.
89.
Uh,
Just below top 10 level for now. I mean, I haven't even seen that many movies.
That's
so I
some
don't know.
bullshit. I know that.
Yeah,
There's no way you rate this 89.
Pandering.
No, I really like this movie.
Pandering.
It's like the kind of movie.
It is
that
a
I think-
spy movie. I like it. I like that genre.
It's like the protagonist is like perfect, basically, you know, and like
It's a good
it's
looking
like
man, yeah.
Oh,
just
he is.
in
Kellyanne
everything.
Kellyanne has a huge crush. What's his name? I don't even.
Taron Egerton?
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
name.
He was in another movie.
Okay,
recently,
wait.
too.
I'm gonna give my rating.
Okay.
Everyone, listen. It'll definitely be
If
the
it's
highest,
above a
unless
90.
If it's top 3 all time.
yeah, well, maybe top 5 all time.
Oh.
But like, I don't like a lot of movies the way I like this movie, so I'm gonna give it a 90.
Oh my
Four.
god. She's
Yeah, solid A, baby.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Wait, just out of curiosity, what are your 2 movies that you put above this at least?
I don't know if I would put them above it, but Boondock Saints is one. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is a movie I really like. But all of them are like British, like action.
This is British too.
Yeah, so I just have a type, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Well, you better learn it.
You wanker.
Yeah.
Bloody.
And you only know like 2 British phrases? Actually, no.
Me,
No,
I
that
keep
was-
it
that was
I
Yeah.
can practically speak English. Okay?
The Queen's English.
The
Alright.
Queens.
Guessing the Rotten Tomatoes score, I thought it would be somewhere close to
We're
mine
doing
because
the Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
but not the audience.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll tell you both, but I guess 80 because
Yeah.
I didn't think it was very like critically
I-
acclaimed,
I-
or it might have been higher.
This is the critics.
This is the critics, yeah.
Fuck the critics, man.
I honestly thought this had good reviews. No, because
My
I
guess
remember-
is gonna be low.
I literally hadn't heard of this movie at all. And Ashton was the one who suggested, he's like, yeah, this movie just came out, has really good reviews. I'm like, oh, I never checked what it was, but I
And
would.
the second one, like,
The second one flopped. It was awful.
yeah, I mean, the movie sucked ass, but then also people were like, wow, this really sucks. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's their right to
It's
say.
all around bad.
But,
I will say, I think for the first one, the critic score is probably like an 89.
I'm just gonna go with a 73.
What did the critics score?
Alright.
What was he saying?
What is your score?
No, my score was
Is
82,
your
Oh.
score?
but I'll go.
Mine is 79, my guess.
I'll go 82.
82. Brian was really close.
That low?
Actual Rotten Tomatoes score is 74.
Damn.
So good guess, Brian. The audience score was 84, so like even lower than
I
what
always
you
guess
guys
with the
guessed.
audience.
Did you guess 84? I didn't.
I said
guessed
82.
82.
It's almost
You
as
don't
if
have the
you're
critics
in
either.
audience.
This movie also didn't
Fuck the
win.
critics, man.
Hey,
I mean, it also got 84 audience, so it wasn't like super high.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I agree with that. It's fine.
What do you mean you agree with it?
Like,
Okay, it's
that's
like, what the fuck you
reasonable.
mean? This is a 94 movie.
well, okay.
Threshold.
The thing with like I've always had a problem with like the ratings that they do on Rotten Tomatoes because the 84% doesn't mean on average people rated it 84. It's 84% of people liked that movie, right? So like even if there's like a movie that's 20%, that means 1 in 5 people really like
That
that
was
movie,
me.
right? So like it just never really settled well with me. I don't know.
So like you're saying, everyone watched Paddington 2.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Like I just like I don't know. It's not like for
It's
me.
not
It's
a
not
big-
a
it's not a
scale.
big-
Yeah, I guess.
Like it's just how on average would you like this movie or not?
That's how I rated it.
Yeah.
This movie also didn't win any like major awards or anything.
It got nominated.
It got nominated, but it didn't win any.
I feel like
It's
it was.
just a
As
cool
someone
movie.
who
No,
loves
I
the
thought
movie,
I
don't
thought
think
it would have
deserves a
gotten
single
nominated
award.
for some of the action scenes.
It
Like
got
best
nominated,
choreography.
but it didn't win anything.
It's just a cool movie.
It was very well shot. Like the cinematography was very well done.
Okay, let's use
It's
that
like-
as. Oh, you want to say something?
Well, I'll save it for later in the podcast.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh,
We'll use that as a segue to our favorite scenes and quotes.
The
So,
whole fucking movie.
Oh man.
Kelly's going
has
off
a
of this like
script.
I was on A Star Is Born.
He's
This is her.
right.
It's like,
It's
actually,
awesome.
I've got the script pulled up.
Yeah.
that is my favorite.
Scene
Alright.
72.
Killian's like
So-
the whole scene from like the beginning to
To
the end.
the end.
Okay, wait, I do want to say though, when I first posed this movie to Will, when I was like, okay, we're gonna watch this one, or like we decided to watch it, I was like, the thing that I love about this movie is that every single scene is my favorite scene. Like, every single
Honestly,
scene,
don't know.
I never ever get
Something-
disappointed when a new scene comes on. And in some movies that you love, it's just like, oh, this fucking scene again. But with this movie, every single scene, I'm like, yeah, like, I fucking love that. So that's my
That's
most
fair. That's
favorite.
fair.
I don't know if
Strong.
I can agree with you on that.
I mean, I don't think it's because there's
I
always
had a lot of
something.
favorite scenes, but I didn't think that every scene was good.
And I think everyone has the same.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
All right, I'll go in order like chronologically in the movie. First, like notable scene that I remembered was the bar fight.
Yeah.
Manners maketh man. You know what that means. Then let me teach you a lesson.
That's such a good scene.
Manners maketh man. He says that, and then he does the whole like locking the door sequence, and then he does like all these like cool like action shots. Yeah,
That was like the first time you see like an actual fight scene in that movie, I guess, and it like prepares you for like the kind of action that's gonna happen. Because I think when this first released, it was like a very unique fighting style that like no movie had done before. Not that I can remember, and it was really cool because it was like very fast paced. Like the camera is wild and stuff, and like. It's not like some movies when like there's a big fight and like you can't see anything because the camera's like you follow the action the whole time. I thought that was really cool.
All right, next one. I said these are like the 4 like training like test scenes that they did. So like first one is the water filling the room.
Yes, so stressful.
The skydiving scene. The like party interrogation.
Hey, it's Kingsman worth dying for.
Honestly.
I have some interesting facts about some of these. So, from my half-assed internet research, apparently, in the first time they tried to do the filming of the water filling the room scene, they messed something up with the computer and they accidentally flooded like the entire studio, including like everyone, like the cameraman, sound guys. Everyone was like 20 feet underwater. So like that was like apparently one of the first things they shot in the movie too. So it was like not a great way to start filming. But that was super stressful. I can't imagine like what the director was thinking, and like some of the reactions of like cast members are like actually genuinely terrified, which I assume they were.
They kept those in the movie.
They kept like reactions, but they didn't keep like any of the stuff that they filmed.
I'll be honest, those training scenes, I liked them, but they probably weren't like my favorite part of them. Like I felt like they were kind of maybe just because I'd watched them so many times, but like I felt like they were kind of tedious, you know.
It's just like the Hunger Games or Divergent.
Yeah, like it's just
that
like
part of
scene. But I really liked them, but I wouldn't say they were like one of my favorites.
Also, the skydiving scene that was actually shot in real life with stunt doubles. Like they actually like jumped out of an airplane, and filmed it. So
okay.
No, because
like, they got a stunt. Like there's like the special person on set. I read that's like.
Training scenes?
They're dope.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I was little and I used to think about this, I have no idea how I'm going to pose this without sounding like a weirdo, but when I was little and I would think about, like, what would be, I distinctly remember in elementary school walking down this one hall that I can still picture, like, what if this whole thing filled up with water? Like, what would I do? It's a scenario, I swear to God, that I've thought about since I was, like, 10. And so then it was, like, just cool for me to see
now
that.
You're like, I can just go and put a tube in the toilet.
Yeah, now I know the thing.
What did 10-year-old Kellyanne do?
No, she
Drowned?
was a mermaid at that point.
Oh, okay.
So-
That's pretty cute, actually. I rate that.
Oh, thank you.
I rate that.
Are you taking a piss?
Yeah.
Something cool that I think in the training scenes. This is like a little bit into character development, so I'll say it now because I was talking about it anyway. But each of the training scenes I think represents like you learning something new about Eggsy as a character. The first one with filling the water, you kind of see how he like reacts under pressure and like how he's able to think quickly. The second one with the skydiving, he's like has teamwork. He's the one who like tells them like, all right, let's form a circle. Let's
So reacting under pressure.
yeah, he's like
No,
he has
I
leadership.
got
He has
you,
like
though.
teamwork. He's like getting people together and like having an idea. The third one with the party interrogation shows that he's loyal to like the Kingsman. And the fourth one with shooting the dog shows that he has his own personal sense of morality too.
Well, the first scene, or one of the first scenes in the movie is when they're like trying to run away
Oh
from
yeah,
the guys.
and he stops.
And he
because
stops
of
in front of
dog.
the cat, or
yeah.
and he's like, "That's just foreshadowing."
Yo,
so
yeah,
I
that's
think
foreshadowing.
Can we
that's,
talk
like,
about how like
right.
Eggsy was like a pro ass driver for like no apparent? Because like they explained how he could parkour because they're like he was in gymnastics. They said he like signed up for military stuff. He was like very smart, which is but like. They never really explain why he can just like drive perfectly backwards and like avoid.
that's
That's
one-
one question.
That's one of my problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
See,
for
that's
later.
what you can't. That's just the movie, man.
Yeah,
he's the
it's just-
perfect.
I think
Yeah,
the
yeah,
point of the
yeah.
movie is not for it to be super realistic.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean,
If you're gonna, I could tell you 5,000 other things where it's
Yeah.
like less likely or
Yeah.
not as believable.
Heads exploding.
If you choose the driving
Why
part, it's
question
like
that?
okay. Yeah.
all right. Next one I said the church scene iconic.
Excuse me.
Where are you going? Hey, what's your problem?
I'm a Catholic whore, currently enjoying Congress out of wedlock with my black Jewish boyfriend who works in a military abortion clinic. So hail Satan, and have a lovely afternoon, madam.
Oh my god.
That scene. So
Just starting from the quotes.
Sujay and I were talking when we watched this movie. But like, I think the most unrealistic thing is how this thing happens, and he's the only one with a handgun, and it's like Kentucky. But then as the scene goes on, there's like 3 more guns, and we're like, once it hit 4 more guns, we're like, this is like realistic, you know?
This could be Kentucky.
Yeah, like you're telling me this thing happened, and only one dude pulls out his gun in Kentucky. Like, come on. I like a hate group thing.
It was also a church, so like that's what I said.
But then a couple people still like
Yeah, but it was like a hate church.
Yeah.
It's like a white supremacy.
Yeah.
There's give and take. It's hard to estimate exactly how many guns should have been there.
How many guns do you bring to your white supremacy church?
Me myself.
Oh! He brings this one right here.
Only 2 I've ever needed.
Alright, last one I had was the final battle. There's like this really cool sequence where like they reverse engineer or whatever, and they like get the like chips to blow up, and you just see all the colorful like heads blowing up. I just thought that was really cool to watch.
I know Will's favorite scene.
Oh my god, Girish.
Why is
Why
my
is it
favorite
Will's?
scene? You're the one the whole movie.
Just gassing up the scene.
Nah,
We're talking about the ass.
No.
In case that was unclear.
I also agree with you, probably. Those are like my favorite scenes, except for the training one I said before. But the church scene was definitely my favorite. Are we still doing quotes?
Sure.
Yeah, so like manners make it man was like the main one, and then Samuel Jackson, like both times he said this ain't that kind of movie. Like so after the church when Harry kills everyone,
Yeah,
he's like, you want me to tell you the plan, but he's like, this ain't that kind of movie, and then he shoots him, and it's really funny because he like looks away too. But then he says it again when he's like on the floor and Eggsy's like killed everyone, and then he's like, you said it yourself, like this ain't that kind of movie. I thought that was really cool. It was a good scene. It was a good quote. Like it really tied everything together. You know, that was well done.
I just wanted to comment about both of like the church and the death scene, or like when all the colorful shit went off because they blew up the chips. I think, like, you can say that any fight scene is choreographed because they all are, but people, like lay people who aren't movie critics, I feel like don't usually use the word choreographed when they're describing fight scenes. But in this movie, we all keep coming back to the word choreographed because it like truly was like a dance, like a dance scene. Even in with the beginning when what's his face, Colin Firth, isn't that who plays him?
Yeah.
When,
Wilson Colin Firth, that's his name.
when he like beats up the guys or whatever, like all of that is so choreographed, and I think it's like really artistic and pretty to watch and fun and dynamic, and I like that it's a little animated and like not quite realistic, so that stuff is really fun, and that's why a lot of those scenes were my favorite scenes.
I also think anything with Giselle in it, like the lady with the spear legs, I think that was all
Spear legs.
Oh, fucking swords.
They're just like prosthetics.
But they were like
they're sharp.
they're
Yeah,
sharp.
but like,
I thought all the fight scenes with her were like very well done because like it was a unique. Well, I haven't seen it before, but like it was a unique kind of villain. You know, like someone who uses their legs as knives. And I thought like all the fight scenes were amazing, but I think especially the ones with her in it were just like very cool because it just like sounded like very clean and everything's like it looked elegant. It looked choreographed, like Kellyanne said. Yeah.
Also, another thing is that almost all the scenes were like so lighthearted. I mean, they're the scenes like when he's at home with his stepdad and his dad's being an asshole, or stepdad's being an asshole. Then you see those are the darker scenes. But for the most part, like another reason why I love the movie is that it's all so lighthearted and like none of it's taking itself very seriously and not trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson fucking served McDonald's to the
Yeah,
dudes
that
and
was
stuff.
so
It's like
funny.
you know, it's
So
like they don't take themselves seriously, so you don't take it
Yeah,
seriously,
like it
and
was
you just
like
enjoy.
cheeky,
Yeah,
and it was fun.
Another great British.
Yeah, that is cheeky bug. Yeah.
Alright. Any other scenes like besides the ones that I said that you don't want to add?
I have a quote. This is
Okay,
a bit
go for
closer.
it.
Besides what Girish said already, but like when he's in the plane and he puts on the suit for the first time and then he steps out and Colin Firth is like, I remember this.
Galahad.
Galahad, yeah. Merlin's
Colin Firth is the other guy.
Merlin is his like mission
Ball,
name,
yeah.
isn't it?
Merlin is
Merlin's
the guy with the
butler,
glasses, like the bald guy.
Yeah, the servant.
Oh yeah.
Galahad is
yeah.
the main. Galahad
Oh
is
yeah, Merlin then, right?
Yeah,
Who was in the plane.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like looking good, and then
Oh,
then
the gun.
Feeling good.
feeling
Yeah,
good.
feeling good.
It's just like so perfect, like because that's like
It was
the
a
whole
very
movie.
surprisingly for a lot of blood and gore. It's a very feel good movie. You know, like A lot of scenes were heartwarming. Like a couple of them, but like it's like a good thing to just sit down, turn the brain off, and watch. But also if you want to turn the brain off, analyze some stuff.
Another thing that I want to say that I just thought about is that I shit a lot on Dead Poet Society when it was like a boys club and they were all like feeling good about themselves. But that's like the part of this movie that I love so much is like that he's so confident and he is. Not the fact that he's white is why I like it, but I'm saying like he's white, and that was a complaint of mine with Dead Poet Society that they were all white and they were all feeling so good about themselves. But then like pretty much they're almost all male, and so I wonder what it is that's different.
So you're saying you're a hypocrite is basically what you're
Yes,
saying.
that's what I'm
but
saying.
the one who actually makes
Yeah,
the Kingsman.
Yeah, that's true.
The one who makes the Kingsman though is the girl. So like.
Yeah, that's true.
She technically
it's
officially.
good that they threw that in there, but like.
Good for them.
But then they're gonna sideline her for the entire final battle.
Yeah, like she's on a fucking battle
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or like even all the recruits, it was like the whitest bunch of
Yeah. Oh my.
I mean,
that was
to
the
be
point.
fair, it's
Yeah.
like
It is like
And maybe
London.
why
That
like
might
their
just
I was
teachers,
gonna-
he's not
that's just the
educated.
London.
That's upper class.
Yeah, because they were like we recruited people like high test scores. Like he was the only oddball out of the recruiting class. Because like obviously like all the other people were like these posh dudes.
Yeah, he's like the ghetto guy.
But he's
still white.
Yeah, like
In the
It was the
remake
shins.
section, just have him black or something like that.
Alright. If we're done with this favorite scenes, we'll move on to our Zuko Award, which character has the best development. Third for me, like again, like with a lot of these movies, I think there's only one real answer, and I think it's Eggsy. To Kellyanne's delight. He starts as this bum, and like he's kind of like he is like
he is
I mean,
a bum though. Yeah.
he like steals stuff and like
No, but he's doing it. He's the Robin Hood. He's stealing from the rich.
Isn't he Robin Hood? Am I thinking about Robin?
He is. No. The
He is
movie he was
Robin Hood.
cast in
Yeah.
is Robin Hood.
Whoa.
But like, yeah, he's kind of just like not doing anything with his life. But he kind of like then he joins this organization. He goes like gets like trained and stuff, and shows like all these things about him. How he has like I said with the training scenes, they each show something about him. And through his training, he's supposed to become like a perfect replacement for Galahad, which means of course he has to die. But that's all just to make him the hero in the end. So I said Eggsy. Does anyone even have any other person?
The head honcho guy who like turns on him in the end.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, he gets developed.
I guess.
Yeah,
I
sure.
honestly think Michael Caine is like severely underused in this movie. Like
He's
I really,
such a good actor.
I like him in so many other movies, but in this one I just did not like him.
Yeah, they didn't throw him in that much.
Yeah, and when he was in it, I didn't like scenes with him.
Although I do feel like Merlin Merlin like the side dude. I think he had a decent character.
I thought for his role, he had very good.
he was a very good actor.
I liked the girl too. She was like timid and stuff at first, and then when she became a Kingsman, like obviously her whole development was the fact that she couldn't jump out of a plane, and then she was the one responsible for going into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that kind of thing
That's
is
cool,
development, and it was nice to watch lighthearted again. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be, but it was.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else good.
I don't like think that Galahad had the best development, but he's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's the guy you're supposed to like when you see the movie because he's the one who's training.
Actually, he does go into some development because he was the one at the beginning of the movie that was like who Eggsy's dad saves, and then like that's why he like feels like he's Eggsy's mentor throughout the movie. So he's got some development.
Soft.
Yeah. All right, moving on then. Sequel or prequel? This is a very easy category because this movie has both a sequel and a prequel. That's actually scheduled to come out next week.
Wait, the
I didn't.
prequel?
Yeah.
No, so it's
Wait,
called
Kingsman 3.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Kingsman
yeah,
3
I
and it's
completely
supposed to be
forgot
how
about
the
that.
Secret Service was formed. Like,
What?
Yeah.
Kellyanne's like, I know what we're doing on
It comes out
Valentine's
next
Day.
week.
Not only does it come out next week, Kellyanne, it comes out on Valentine's Day.
Well, I'm so sorry.
I know
but
what
we
you're
just
doing
gave you a
next week.
commitment to do next week.
Oh yeah, the sequel sucks. Major penis.
Oh, can we
It's
talk?
like-
Can we talk about the sequel?
Yeah, we'll talk
so
about it in a sec.
bad.
Okay.
I never saw it.
But yes,
Okay, so-
spoiler.
It
First off,
ruins-
Whoa.
Wait, what if he's gonna watch it? Are you
Are
gonna
you, you're all shitting on it. Right?
Yeah. Like,
Okay, so first off, for anyone listening, spoiler for Kingsman 2. If you haven't seen it, either watch it or
honestly,
just.
don't.
It's not a great movie, but skip to like whenever if you want to put like a timestamp or something.
I'm not gonna put a
Yeah,
timestamp. Don't watch the
but
movie.
But yeah, we're about to talk about spoilers, so like just a heads up right now.
Get to the end.
But yeah, it was awful. Oh my. Okay, so
Oh.
first off, Galahad he doesn't actually die, which was the dumbest shit because his death is so iconic. And then they're like, basically the American Kingsman found him, and they use like this super advanced like technology that they just throw around for the rest of the movie that can just casually heal someone of a shot through the eyeball or something, right?
Through the head, like
Through the
honestly.
head.
And
And
there's
he-
like a different character.
he
by the
comes
end,
back and
and
he
then
has-
Merlin dies in the end.
Oh my
and
God,
there's
yeah.
this one awful fingering scene that I also
Oh,
watched.
yeah.
And it's like worse than any sex scene because
It's
it's,
like-
like,
he's
He like goes
it
into
was
her,
the most-
like,
to the vagina.
It was like the
yeah.
most unnecessary. She's like, we need to get this tracker on it. It's like, maybe you can put it in a drink. Like, you've seen that you have a lot of ways to
Yeah,
spike someone's
yeah.
blood. You're like, no, you need it in her blood.
Yeah.
Actually, you have to finger this girl. It's like,
Yeah. Why would you? And they were trying to capitalize on the whole like we don't give a fuck attitude of the first one that was so
And
they
successful.
took it too
And
far,
they-
yeah.
yeah, they crossed the
also,
line.
he's like dating the princess or whatever.
Yeah, their
And that's
relationship's
like a
so
whole,
weird.
because like the premise of the second movie, if you guys haven't seen it, is like there's like this drug cartel, and she like basically makes like she like ends up distributing something in her drugs that like make people die within 72 hours, and she's like, you guys want to pay me because like I'm a legitimate entrepreneur too.
Who is she?
I don't know the actors,
Oh, the actor. I don't know.
but like she's
kinda
like
famous, but-
she's like
no, but
okay,
like you should like explain who that is before you just said she.
oh my bad. I said drug cartels. Drug cartels can be. Come on.
No, I'm just saying.
No, the
Anyway,
villain.
my bad,
Yeah.
my bad, my bad. But so she's the villain, and she's like, you guys you have to pay me, or else I won't give you guys the antidote. And the antidote, if I don't give it to you, like this is what's gonna happen. And like it's so stupid because the whole time they're like trying to find her, and like at the same time they're trying to juggle like, oh, Galahad's back, but like he's kind of stupid now and he doesn't remember anything.
Yes.
And then they also met the American Kingsman, and that whole thing's going on.
Yeah.
And there's just
And
too much.
Elton
shit.
John.
Oh, yeah.
Elton
I did not
John
like
was in
Elton
that.
John.
Elton John was in the movie.
He
Why?
was, no, not only was he in the movie, he was in a good part of the movie.
He
yeah,
was-
he was
he
a character.
he was a
Saves
borderline
them.
main
No, he
character.
saves them in the end, and
Sir Elton John.
Sir Elton John is in the
of
movie.
Elton.
But
Some
it's
bloody
just
respect
so
in it.
awful. Like, and like the twist is so obvious in the end. Like, it's just
Also, Channing Tatum was in that movie,
Channing
and he
Tatum
had
was in
less
the
of a
movie.
role than Elton John.
But yeah, at the end, Eggsy just married. That's why when I saw Kingsman 3 coming out, I was kind of surprised. Because at the end of Kingsman 2, Eggsy marries the princess and he becomes the prince of that country.
Well, if it's a prequel.
Yeah, so I
They
didn't know it was a
say he's not
prequel,
in it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he becomes the prince, and then like Channing Tatum ends up coming to the British branch or whatever, and they like end up being like friends. And it's just, it was just such a bad movie.
I'm surprised they had the balls to come out with a third movie after.
I mean,
I mean, no, like it
After
was.
that
It
one
was.
so bad.
Alright, this is what I had to say about the second one. I thought like they took all of the cool stuff from this movie, like the fighting scenes, the bar scenes, and just kind of beat them to death in the second movie.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it did.
Like I'd seen like the bar scene before, and I did not need to see it again. Like
For
it was
the
cool in the first
third
movie. Yeah,
time,
this is
yeah.
the third time I'm seeing this scene. I things that I did like from the sequel though. I liked how like the idea for the villain was just as radical as in this one. Because like Valentine in this movie, he's like his whole thing is that he doesn't want like what is it,
Global warming.
overpopulation
It's
or like
global
global
warming,
warming
right?
or something.
Yeah.
So he wants to kill like all these people.
Thanos, dude.
Yeah,
That's the
basically.
same as the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, that's this I'm talking about the first movie.
Oh,
And in the second movie, she wants to like legalize all drugs.
Oh.
So she comes up with some like.
No, and in that,
Teaching.
you talk about the president. Like he's like president, like.
And yeah, I thought that was really funny. Like, that's the things I liked in the movie.
Stupid. It was like the president's like president, like we need to like give away this money, or all the people who are on drugs who took this are gonna die. And this whole twist, the president's like, let the druggies die. He's like, we don't need these
No.
bottom feeders. And it's just
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be a commentary on like
But I was
Republicans,
like, that's so fucking stupid.
it's a like.
And then he gets
commentary on
arrested in
Republicans.
office. Like, there's no way they would allow like.
Once again, a
Very-
commentary on Republicans. The first movie they had like Obama, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
in this one it's supposed to be Trump. So that was cool. I like that. That was funny. I honestly have high hopes for the prequel. I watched some of the trailers and they look pretty cool. I'm pretty interested in
That
seeing.
sucks because
how
I
the
really
Kingsman
have my
started.
hopes up for it now. I didn't even know. I could get
I didn't
by a
even
third
know.
movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, moving on.
Easy category.
Yeah.
Score that away. There is a prequel and a sequel.
All right, this one, we're gonna change it a little bit. I'm gonna rename this category to alternate universe, and basically I'm just gonna talk about some of the differences that when they were creating this movie they could have made, casting, like plot, all that stuff. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Kingsman is originally based off a comic. This is a comic book movie adaptation. The comic was called The Secret Service, so a lot of changes they made from the book to the movie are different. I wrote down some of them. One, Gazelle. She's played in a woman in the movie, but in the book, it's a guy. So that's
Kelly,
one.
Does he still have knife legs?
Yeah,
Okay.
they still have prosthetic, artificial legs that he uses as weapons, but it's a woman in the movie. The woman's actually either a gymnast or a acrobat of some kind. That's why she can do all this. So
She didn't have a stunt double?
No, I mean, I guess she was.
She actually cut her legs off and did all of it.
She wasn't an amputee, but she was.
No, but she
No,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, she could do all
She
that.
probably did all the flips and shit.
Second one, the book version of Valentine never found out that Harry was a spy. Like in the movie, he knows basically from the first meeting that this dude's a spy, but in the book he never finds out. So that's kind of cool. And the last one is in the book, the tests that the Kingsmen had to do when they were entering, it wasn't a competition. So in the movie, that's one of the big things with training, that you have to be better than everyone else. But in the book, that they were actually not going against each other.
So how did that work?
They were all just trying to become part of Kingsman, not only one of you could be
Oh,
a
so
Kingsman.
a lot of people they could have accepted everybody.
Yeah, I'm honestly pretty interested in this book. It seems cool. Some differences as far as the movie goes. It's fine that you guys were talking about making Eggsy black, because one of the front runners to be considered for the role of Eggsy was John Boyega.
Is that Finn?
Yeah, Finn from Star Wars. That's if he was. I know Kellyanne wouldn't like that much
I don't know him.
from
He's
Star
from
Wars.
Star Wars.
She's never seen that.
Wow.
Have you seen Pacific
No,
Rim
no,
2?
I've seen the first one. I saw seven.
Dude, Chirag Gupta
I
is
know
in
this is
Pacific
in it.
Rim
I
2.
just don't remember it. I hated the movie.
He's the main character. I mean, the girl's the main character.
Kellyanne would think anyone besides
I wouldn't have hated him as it
Well, is
would have
he
been a
British?
downgrade.
Yeah, he is
Oh,
British.
okay, well then, he's already got a leg up.
Other possible roles for Roxy, Emma Watson was considered.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I like that.
I think she's too
She's too
strong,
nice.
too confident to be someone who was supposed to be so timid at the beginning. I think.
I feel like I would just see
I see
oh, it's
her.
Hermione. I can't think of her as
Love
anything
Emma
else.
Watson.
Yeah, she's hot.
I don't know why there's a pause there. She is.
I
but-
agree.
Good
Yeah.
opinion.
Thank you guys.
And lastly, for the role of Richmond Valentine, there was 3 possible candidates. Would anyone like to guess who?
Is that Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking classic villains. I mean,
No,
I
they
don't know.
they
I don't
chose
know if that's
weird people, so probably
Yeah,
people you
someone
wouldn't
who
expect.
Would just be funny to list.
I don't know if you'll agree with any of these, but
Kevin Hart.
dude, honestly, that kind of would have been funny.
Okay, honestly though, Kevin Hart's not.
He's an awful person.
He's
a
his
great
movies have
comedian.
become his movies and Dwayne Johnson movies
Yeah.
have just become a genre.
Yeah,
at this point.
was it Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Was it
Oh my god, what if it was?
What about Dave Chappelle?
No.
Playing
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle's a
I'll
reoccurring
give you,
Yeah, I
I'll give you
know.
a hint. None of these people are comedians. They're all
Okay,
serious
serious
actors.
actors. So that means
Serious.
so it has to be someone who's a villain.
Matthew McConaughey.
Woody Harrelson.
No.
Ben Affleck.
Well, we've
Nope.
got True Detective out of the way.
Yeah,
Daniel
well,
Radcliffe.
there's
Vince
another
Vaughn.
guy.
No.
Who's
It's
the
not
other
Daniel.
guy, the
Who?
or Ali.
No.
Who?
Oh,
He's not in a lot.
Mahershala Ali.
No, Mahershala Ali,
He was
yeah,
only
sure,
in those
that's fine.
really Oscar award
Very
winners.
niche movies.
Okay, give
Chadwick
us a
Boseman.
hint. Give us a
No.
hint.
They're all very serious actors. 2 of them are
Leonardo
white, one is
DiCaprio.
black.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
He was
one of them is
the
Leonardo
villain.
DiCaprio.
Well, okay.
Good job, Will.
Right.
Denzel Washington.
No.
So
So we got Leo's
Two
up there.
black-
The
Brad
guy
Pitt.
who
Pitt.
plays Darth Vader.
No.
Darth Vader.
Who is
I can't
that?
remember his name. But he
So you say
James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
But no.
his voice, like, yo.
Alright. For the sake of time, I'll tell you. The other white guy was Tom Cruise, and the black guy was Idris Elba.
What?
Oh, Idris Elba would have been.
Oh,
Damn, how did we not get?
He's good.
He
Idris
would've
Elba's
been-
honestly.
Tom Cruise has
My
a
problem with all
humor.
3 of these people, though, is that they're 2 serious actors. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they could get
Samuel
the.
Well,
L.
Samuel
Jackson.
Jackson.
DiCaprio?
No,
would be
Samuel L.
really
Jackson can play funny roles.
DiCaprio
Yeah.
can play any role, so.
But the
Yes.
list,
I would not have taken Leo seriously though, and
Leo is an evil guy looking.
You're not supposed to take him seriously.
no, but I wouldn't have taken it's supposed to be a comedy. I wouldn't have been this guy's
Samuel
funny.
Jackson's.
It
Like,
would have
if,
been too serious for me.
actually,
Okay,
Leo
would've
could
been
probably
worse.
do anything, honestly, but I don't know. I think Samuel Jackson.
It'd be interesting
I
to see a
keep
movie where
picture-
Tom Cruise is the villain instead
Yeah,
of the
Tom
protagonist.
Cruise. I was.
He was in what was
Mission
We're
Impossible.
the Millers? Maybe was that the one?
No,
he's
he's
in?
not.
Oh
in
no,
that.
that's
So
that.
he does a cameo in a movie like that
But
I
does
think
he
he's
ever
Millers.
play
That's
the
a
villain or the antagonist?
as like not a great guy. Wait, let's look it up. Tom Cruise cameo.
It can be argued that he's not a great guy.
Alright.
Fair enough.
Tropic Thunder. Maybe that's what.
Oh, that's the one with the Robert Downey Jr. where they pretend
Yeah,
to be.
Tropic Thunder, and he
black.
played like a bald guy who was like supposed to look bad,
Oh.
and so he like had a funny moment that you wouldn't expect.
Alright, the director Matthew Vaughn, he almost didn't direct this movie to go direct X-Men Days of Future Past.
Oh, what a flop that
So
was.
he clearly got the better deal by doing this movie. And also, one of the things that he wanted to change about the movie, but producer Jane Goldman told him not to, he wanted originally for the Kingsman to kill the dog. Like, actually kill the dog, not have it be a blank. So
Oh, fuck
that's one
that.
thing.
I
And
bet
Wait,
I thought you meant
she
like.
convinced him to change it because she thought they would lose the audience.
In the
for that.
comic, is that?
I haven't read the comics, so I don't know, but
He would have lost Kellyanne, that's for sure.
Yeah, they would have lost a lot.
Alright,
of
I'm not asking a question, it's going to be polarizing, but if you're joining the Kingsmen, would you shoot the dog?
Okay, well, first off, this is assuming you thought it was real, because
Yeah, you think it's real. Or
Because you kind of have to know that they're fucking
Yeah.
with you
Dude,
every step of the
honestly,
way.
probably not. Like,
I have no desire to join the Kingsmen.
Yeah.
No, but let's say you want
Like-
No, you're joining the Kingsmen, like you want to join it.
So let's say,
Yeah.
would you give me $1 billion if I had to shoot my dog
no, straight up.
Would you shoot Kipper?
For
for $1 billion? Yes.
Brian!
He's coming tomorrow.
You
I
should
would-
tell your sister
I
before she
would
comes.
I would shoot Whoopsie for sure for $1 million.
For $1
Wow!
For
a billion.
$1 billion?
Billion.
I thought you
Was
were
like, I'll do it for $1,000.
You guys are
I
like,
would
do you
consider
know?
shooting Whoopsie
Do you
for
know
$1
what you could do with $1 billion?
You were
10 million
right.
for sure. 10 million for
Yeah,
sure.
honestly,
I would
like-
shoot Whoopsie.
Alright, let's find the number.
10 million for sure.
5 million?
5
Dude,
is where it
yes.
gets iffy. One, no, actually probably 5. One is like
Yeah.
I'm already like on the fence about one.
Okay.
Wait, is this before or after taxes?
This is not
That's a good
taxable.
point.
It's
Yeah,
it's
dude,
good.
that's a
It's
huge
not
chunk of-
$1 is like 10 years of my life.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
have to do
okay.
shit.
Not tax, not tax.
So straight up $1
Gross
million
income.
in the bank.
$1 million.
Does this account for
Yes.
inflation?
I would shoot Whoopsie for $1 million.
Yeah, like
I think
you guys are
everyone in
like-
my family
I-
would shoot Whoopsie for $1 million.
Jesus.
I would shoot the dog. I think if I was joining Kingsman, I'd shoot the dog. $1
I wouldn't do
million
it to
for
join.
Sure.
I wouldn't do it.
I
to
can't really
join.
say anything because I don't have a dog, so I don't know the connection or anything. But
I have a connection. I love.
I
I love
assume-
Kipper.
I
But like,
assume in the
Like,
I
Not
love $1 million
$1
more. Yeah.
in the timeline, how long do they have the dog? Like I want to say like a month or so.
Yeah, it's not that long.
So-
like, I feel like I could much easier shoot a dog I'd had for like 6 months or a month than I could a dog I'd had for like 5
I mean, I
years.
would
We've
just
had
not like
Whoopsie
to
for
shoot
9
any
years.
dog.
I'd
We'll
shoot it
still
for $1 million.
Will.
It's been decided.
Alright.
It
Non-tax.
would make you really sad though.
Jesus.
Whoopsie.
I don't know.
Tater would. And we only had him for a year.
I feel like the younger the dog, when they're still a puppy, it'd be
Yeah,
harder.
Will, that was
Yeah,
a-
but like the dogs were puppies.
Whoopsie's
Like
a
in the
bitch.
movie, like
She is.
Let's talk
Some
to
animals are just bitches. Like, that happens.
that's why she's getting shot.
For $1 million,
She's
hell
for
yeah.
$1 million, yeah.
Jeez.
All right.
That's why people hate cats, because like a lot of cats are bitches. My cat is. It happens.
I legit haven't seen a cat.
My cat's
He's
awesome.
the best.
I wouldn't shoot my cat for $1 million.
Oh.
5 million?
10 million for sure.
What are you gonna do?
Holy shit.
I got that thing for free.
All right. Well,
Man,
you,
this took a dark
we'll
turn.
segue out of this dark category and go to personal
Which
impact.
of Will's animals would be killed? Can we add that as a section?
I'd kill all of them for the right amount.
Oh,
You guys, yeah, like you
They're
guys have
only
to think.
animals.
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
It's so
That's
funny
fair. That's
'cause,
fair.
like,
That's the thing.
Will loves his animals.
Yeah,
like,
But,
has,
yeah, that's a point. I'd say.
But
Like,
that's
I think,
the-
I
that's
think
the
some people
smart
value
answer.
animals a lot,
This
but
is more the correct answer.
all right. But I think we should steer away from this before we lose all of our viewers.
I would like to say that I wouldn't put any of this money in it.
you wouldn't kill an
You don't
animal.
have a
You've never
dog,
even had a
yeah,
pet.
That's true.
All right. Personal impact. How has this movie changed with something in your life? I don't have a
I
lot
was
for
like,
this
if I
one,
had a dog,
because I guess Will's thinking animal rights are out the window.
That's not true. For $10 million,
Okay,
say
okay,
You
let's just
can, you
move
don't
on,
have
just
to
move
like
on.
hate dogs to, you know, like.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
no, I'm saying I would do it too, but
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
Let's just move on.
something I liked in this movie, action sequences we've talked about. I like the fluidity of these scenes because, like, it's like once you see this movie and you go back and see other action movies, you'll notice how very stop and start they are. Like they'll do like one like punch or whatever,
I don't know how you punch, buddy, but
and then they'll cut to the next scene or like the next like shot or whatever.
Yeah, they tried to make it look like one shot.
But in this one, they do like a bunch of them like right after another. Especially I think in the church scene when they're
It's
doing
one
like
take, I think,
one after another and just stuff's happening. I
It's
think
like
that's
one
really
camera
cool.
too.
Yeah, it's like
Just
I
one
like the
camera
song in
following
that
him
one
around.
too.
Yeah, it's like one continuous shot.
Background's nice there too. The director, he said when he made this movie, he wanted this movie to be to Bond movies what Kick-Ass is to superhero movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Kick-Ass, but I
It's a
assume
good-
it's like just a like.
Kick-Ass is like the comedy. It's like a
Like,
very
It's just like making fun of it.
but it's like
But yeah, I assume. But this was very much like.
Kick-Ass
The little brother
also
that
has a
doesn't
sequel
take
that's
itself
garbage,
seriously.
So they got that in common too.
Any personal impacts you guys have?
We
It
got a
doesn't
lot of
affect me. I
British
just really
terms.
like it. I like that I don't have to take any lessons from it.
I like knowing that if I wanted to, I could be Eggsy.
I don't think so. I don't think
Is that the
so.
lesson you
Are you
took?
What do you
That is
mean?
not
What do you
serious.
mean if you
Oh.
wanted to, you could be?
Just kidding.
Don't know about
Huh?
that one.
Wow, Will, that was an unpopular joke.
Come on, man.
Will.
I didn't get
Maybe
it.
it's
You'll
a-
never be
Maybe it's a
Eggsy.
compliment that people took it seriously.
True.
I don't have any personal.
Nope. Besides, I got one day out of it. That was it. So
The only thing I got out of this movie was one date.
Yeah.
I would say
many
I
more to
learned
come
that
after.
I shouldn't take
Well, yeah,
people
a
for
long
date on
relationship, I
TV.
guess. Yeah, but
I guess that's what you want.
All right.
but it wasn't because of the movie. So
Yeah, well, you don't know that. What if you had gone to see...
What other movies were out at
they
the time?
they were all trash. That's why I was like, maybe I'll give this one a shot. I don't know what this is. It's a wild card. It turned out to be pretty bad. So.
All right. Most underrated. Stuff we've talked about before, so I'm not going to talk too much on them. The camera angles. Just very cool ways they shot. I read on online that many scenes are centrally focused, meaning that the viewer doesn't have to move their gaze from the center of the screen. So it's basically all from one point of view.
Optimum laziness.
Yeah. You don't have to look in the background to see what's happening. Because I looked in the background of the church season because I was wondering what's happening there, but it wasn't really anything. They were just fucking around. And also during the scenes when everyone's killing each other, at the end of the movie, there's not a lot that's going on in the background. It's kind of just mayhem. I also said Colin Firth. I read online he's worked out for 6 months to do this movie, and he did 80% of his own stunts. So I thought that was pretty
Ooh,
cool.
good for him.
Yeah, how old is Colin Firth?
He's actually my grandfather.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Colin Firth
same
age.
stuff mostly. If you can count the choreography.
Dude,
or something.
Anyone want to guess how old Colin Firth is?
72.
No.
Okay, my guess is 62.
65.
59.
60.
Wait, did you say 59?
Yeah.
He's 59.
Damn.
Brian is on top of me today.
Should go buy a lottery ticket.
I assume 6 years ago, or whenever this movie came out, he was a little younger, but still in his 50s. That's pretty impressive. And lastly, I said Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Valentine. That was really good. He's an eccentric billionaire with this corrupted sense of righteousness. So I think that was very nice. Apparently, the lisp was his choice. He just did the first scene in a lisp, and for
And then
whatever
he's like,
reason,
"Fuck, I
and he's like,
committed."
"Hey,
Yeah.
this sounds good." So that was his, and I said, "I really like that."
Motherfucker.
Yeah. So we were making fun of his lips the entire movie too, along with the British accents.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was a show. It was a show contrast from
Those
the
are my
British
underrated
accent.
things. Kellyanne, underrated.
I think the whole movie's underrated because of the
yeah.
fucking rating, but I think I really love how self-aware it is and how meta and how it's just very obvious that everyone knows it's a movie, so I feel like
Wait,
I
this is a
don't
movie?
I don't know what the discourse is around the movie, so I don't know what was hyped and what wasn't hyped because I didn't see it when it was hyped, but I feel like probably got an appropriate amount of hype for the amount for what it was. Just not a very serious spy movie, but also I like how self-aware it was, and when Samuel L. Jackson acknowledges this ain't that kind of movie, all that stuff is for me what makes it. Yep.
You guys got anything?
I mean, other than the choreography and cinematography.
But that's not underrated.
No,
that's
yeah,
that's
that's
a
what
point
everyone
that
talks
people
about.
made a point
I
about.
don't know. I mean, I guess the acting. I thought Merlin did a really good job. I don't know.
Oh
if
yeah,
people
Merlin's
talk-
underrated.
I don't think people talk about how.
I think X is really hot and no one talks about it.
Everyone talks about
Because no, okay, I'll say no one talks about it because he's good for me. He's not
He's good for
good
me.
for
Yeah,
me.
He's good for
It
me. I
works,
don't know
it
how it
works.
works for you.
7 maybe. It's like-
Yeah, he's not when I think of the most attractive actors.
I guess
of
it's his
age,
accent
I
or
don't think.
something.
Because I don't think he's super ripped or anything. He's a.
I don't need that.
I'll be real with you. He kind of looks like Will, which is why I see.
Oh, Will!
He's the same body type.
What?
Damn,
X is
Will.
probably stronger.
Will's got a better beard though.
Yeah, Will has a nice beard.
I do go
English
with
people can't grow beards.
You don't know how strong it is.
I see what you see in Will now.
No.
Or I see why you like Will.
I think Merlin's acting was underrated.
I can talk like Eggsy.
Do it then.
I just have to move to England and then.
Hey,
forget
give me
how
your
to
best British.
Good day.
Yeah.
mate.
Hello, Governor.
Like he talks like hood
Yeah.
British.
Yeah, give me your best hood British.
Yeah.
But like, just say like.
say you meet someone at a bar. We're like, those
What?
like, hey, what's up? Will?
Bruv.
What's up, bro?
Hey,
Like,
bro.
I want to hear Will say that quote that like he says when he steals his car and like he's on the phone. You know what I'm talking about?
The guy.
Yeah, the
He's
guy.
like, I just walked out the fucking bar. He's got in my car. He's done 3 fucking donuts.
My fucking face.
Bloody well done, 15 donuts.
Pretty good. It's scary.
Damn, Will, good
Good
job.
job.
Good job, Will.
All right. Moving on then to our last category, most overrated. Kellyanne's gonna hate me for everything I say on it, so
That's okay. I can live with that.
okay. I'll start with all the high tech stuff. I get it's a spy movie, but some of the stuff was too much for me.
You
Like
don't like the umbrella?
the umbrella,
Umbrella's so cool.
the umbrella and the bulletproof suit I didn't like because like
You didn't
it removes all conflict from the movie.
The
If you can't get
umbrella's
shot,
so
what's the point of
cool.
like?
But it's an umbrella.
The umbrella is so cool, dude.
But like, what's the technology that makes it
Shield, bro.
bulletproof? Like.
Don't think about
I can believe everything beyond like the pens and stuff, like the shoes with the blades that come out of it. Those were cool.
Kevlar umbrella.
But like, do you know how heavy like a Kevlar? Not only that, you're wearing a Kevlar
For the
suit.
structures project, Will and I had to make a fucking hail-resistant thing, so like that wasn't that heavy, you know.
It wasn't kidding.
Alright, anyway, continue.
If you ignore all the stuff from the second movie, like all the high tech
Oh.
bullshit in that movie,
I mean, just a good find.
they were just like,
okay?
oh yeah, like how they brought people back from the dead. But like,
Yeah.
that was one thing. Gazelle, her feet, I like them, but strictly
Or
from
the
a
laugh.
biomechanic
Yeah.
But I'm
standpoint.
not
Yeah.
into this.
That's not possible. Like you could not put this much weight and like do flips and stuff and like be able to stand on just those 2 spikes.
Wait, but like,
I like that.
I thought the same prosthetics were used when
They're
that like
used
Olympian
in
dude.
Paralympics. They're used, but like the way
Even
she's
the
using
dude
them,
who like raced, he was like he had the
Blade
prosthetics.
The guy who murdered the person.
Yeah. No, that's what his nickname was.
Was it? I don't know, but he didn't
like,
compete in the Paralympics. He competed in the actual Olympics too.
No.
Yeah, didn't he kill someone?
I think
Yeah, he
so.
killed
Yeah.
his wife or something, or his spouse.
But he was pretty fast.
The
And
South
so-
African dude.
Yeah, but,
yeah, I really respect this game. I mean,
Like, he killed his spouse, but like he was
I'm
a
talking
bastard.
about him as an athlete. I like,
yeah.
I don't condone the extracurriculars, but I'm a big fan of his game.
but I don't know. Anyway,
The
Anyway.
lip scar, dude.
Just from a biomechanic standpoint, I cannot say that like is possible. I just noticed
Fair
that.
For those who don't know,
I'm
Sujay's a
Sujay's a-
biomedical
yeah.
engineer.
yeah.
Ooh.
So just the president of PME.
qualified.
He's the president of
Oh,
the biomedical
PhD.
engineering department.
I said this is what Will was saying earlier, so he's probably gonna hate me for this. But I don't like how Eggsy is good at everything. He's honestly too good at being a Kingsman,
Just like
and there's
Will.
absolutely
He's descendant of a Kingsman.
absolutely no way that he should have beaten Gazelle in that final fight. Like Gazelle is such a better fighter than
Who
him.
doesn't like an underdog?
The
Yeah.
thing that I think is what makes him beat her is how well he's dressed. He puts the suit on.
Yeah.
He's a
Looking
Kingsman.
good, he's feeling good.
He's
Yeah.
feeling good.
Yeah.
He's
He's a
feeling-
Kingsman now, and that's what it is.
It's just so like not stressful. It's because you know he's gonna win in the end.
Yeah,
I love
like-
that.
And then after the second movie, you know, even if he dies, it doesn't fucking
Yeah, like,
matter.
that's my problem because there's no conflict. Like I've never at any point like, oh, Eggsy's gonna lose this. Like no.
He could have died in the parachute. We don't know.
I said in contrast to Eggsy being so good, everyone just straight up sucks. Like all the other people who are applying to be Kingsman, like we were preparing for this, right? And they actually know stuff, which makes it kind of stupid that they don't know how to do anything. Like especially the skydiving thing, I hated how everyone pulled out like before the line. And when Roxy was the only one who said that she was actually afraid of heights, so I thought if any of them she would pull out, but
It's just because they were assholes.
yeah, I get that, but like they could have been better at it. Like none of them made the mark either, so they kind of did it. Finally, my most overrated. I thought Valentine's plan was so stupid. Like,
I mean, that's one of those things, though. Like, you know, it's gonna be a stupid movie. Like, it's comedy. Like,
yeah, but like
they make fun of how absurd it is. you know?
it's absurd, and I get that. But like,
That was loud.
Sorry.
But like his plan. Let's just break it down for what it is. he's concerned about global warming. So he says like he wants to exterminate a certain amount of the population.
A good amount.
Yeah, not even a good amount. It's like just the 1% basically.
No, save the 1%.
Yeah, no, he's only like saving the 1%.
Yeah.
What does he think is gonna happen after that? Like they have like this is like a lot of commentary that I read when I was reading about Thanos' plan. But like human beings are like a hive mind, so like we can only like if you destroy half of a beehive, the entire hive will collapse. Like it's not capable of sustaining itself anymore. If you destroy 99% of like human like kind, like you're dead. Like what was the follow through on that?
Who's gonna do the shitty
and
jobs?
Not only was it random, he saved only 1% who have like probably not worked a lot, so they don't know what they're doing.
Well, wasn't the idea that like 50% of the people that weren't
they would survive the fighting?
Yeah, like 50% would die, and then he would stop it or whatever. I thought that was the.
I thought he was gonna kill them all.
I like the plan because it's like some shit that like you would write when you're in like 5th grade. It's like, let's make a movie, and then it's like, what does a villain do? Let's have him implant chips inside everybody, blow up their heads, save global warming. It's like
it's like 50% of the population begins in like a 1v1 battle.
It's not 1v1 though. It's like a whole brawl. It's like after that Green Panther.
But even like when you see the church scene, like Galahad was the only one to survive that. But if that happened in every church, then like there would still be like millions of people.
One person standing, yeah.
I guess.
The strongest too. So
yeah.
I just don't think that was something we were supposed to think about. I think it was just kind of supposed to be something.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be absurd.
Generic villain plan.
Doesn't change the fact I didn't like it. So.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I don't really have any overrated. I guess I said earlier I didn't like the training montage as much as you said you did, but like I still liked it. But I don't really think this movie was that overrated.
Brian, anything?
No, not really. I don't know. It was okay. I don't have any strong opinions on it, I guess.
Anything you thought other people liked that you didn't like?
Not really. It's just like
because I feel like you don't enjoy the movie as much, but
no. But I mean, like I don't know if you talk to someone like Kellyanne who likes everything, like yeah, of course I don't have like.
This is such a contrast to our previous podcast because this is like Kellyanne is on the opposite side of the.
I think this movie is criminally underrated, and you'll never hear me say that about another movie.
I guess it's just not my type of movie, which is why I don't rate.
Yeah,
I mean, I admit that it's a well done movie, but it just doesn't do it for me.
He doesn't get me there.
Sort of like Eggsy.
No, he gets it there for me.
just
enough.
It, yeah.
Just
like any less, I'd be like, alright.
Oh, I forgot to say this in the favorite quotes category. It was when he's showing him all the weapons and scenes. It's like, oh, let me guess, this is like a taser. He's like, no, it's a hand grenade. He's like, shut up.
Shut up.
It's such a British thing.
Kellyanne and Will, I'm almost scared to ask, but do you have any overrated?
I don't think any
the
part
name
of
of our podcast, yes.
the movie is. I don't think it's overrated because I don't think anyone gives it like the credit that I personally. Well, actually, no. I feel like it's probably aptly rated. If I'm being honest,
I'm telling you, we need to change the name of
the
this
theme
podcast.
music.
Aptly rated.
Title drop.
because like it's
Title
just
reveal.
not that special. It's just exactly what I like in a movie. So I love it, but and maybe the only thing that could be overrated would be like the fight scenes, but I don't think they're overrated. That's just the only thing that got enough hype for me to think about calling overrated. So those are my thoughts. William?
I don't think it's overrated.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
Pretty much none of it.
Because it wasn't like lauded as one of the greatest movies ever.
Heard of it.
Exactly.
I hadn't seen it until a month ago.
Yeah, it wasn't very publicized much, so I don't think it got that much hype,
Alright, does anyone have any final thoughts they'd like to share?
Shout out to the 2 British viewers.
Dude, they better still be watching, I swear, where they're not.
I've been sending them the links, I've been sending them through WhatsApp, like, yo guys.
What was the reception in Britain for this movie?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm curious.
Actually, no,
like,
I watched the movie with my cousin once, and he said, the only thing I remember, like, notably was, like, yeah, like, the thugs talking, like the guy who gets beat up in the bar, is like, yeah, even their accents, like, we can't understand some of them. Something like that's very thick, like British.
Yeah,
accent.
but what did they think about
Of the
their take
movie?
of like how like they depicted like British?
Oh,
like,
well, they said
violence?
some of it's pretty accurate. I mean, it was shot in Britain, so.
I'm just curious.
But they did say like a lot of the accents were like very thick and like as only like a
Good or bad?
like there's people who talk like that, but it's like a specific region, you know. So
It's regional.
I was like, can we turn on subtitles? But yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess this concludes our podcast. Special announcement: our podcast has now hit triple digits for views.
Really?
Yes.
Total?
Wait, so
Yeah, total. So
Out of
thank you to
off
everyone who's
of
been listening.
3? Wow.
thanks,
Yeah.
ladies,
Yeah.
Damn.
sweetie girls.
Please continue to follow us, and we'll have new stuff coming in the future.
Just with that 5-star rating.